Laurel Collins. She studies social movements, which is perfect for this right now, and I love her take on Bill C-51. She's spoken at the NDP public consultation on C-51 as well, and now she's here to speak to us.
Thank you. Wow, I'm just so impressed at the turnout today. I want to say thank you for coming out and taking time out of your week. Okay, I'm going to say thank you for taking time out of your week to stand up for your civil liberties, for freedom of speech, for our right to assemble together, to engage in civil disobedience without falling under Bill C-51. I think that the previous speakers have said a lot about the bill, and they've really outlined a lot of the issues, so I was thinking, instead of unpacking the details of it, that I would talk a little bit about the racism that underpins and permeates the creation, the implementation, and the debate around this bill. So the Harper government has continually framed this in terms of the necessity to address Islamic extremism, and yet there has been little to no mention of other people engaged in other kinds of activities that are ideologically motivated. And you think of the murderous misfits. This is the term that Peter MacKay gave to the youth in Halifax who were planning a massacre. Now, he said that these youth were not engaged in terrorism because it wasn't culturally motivated.
Shame. 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 Bullshit.
Yeah, and the youth actually had neo-Nazi and white power propaganda and imagery on their social media websites. And so I think you can just read into that culturally motivated comment the underlying Islamophobia. And this has been constant in their discourse. And another instance of this, Randall mentioned briefly, is when a representative from the NCCM, the National Council of Canadian Muslims, came, the Conservative MP actually made slanderous and unfounded allegations when he was about to speak and ideally give the government some feedback on this bill.
Shame. Shame.
So this is just the first layer. The next one is that this bill happened without any kind of consultation of First Nations people, and actually is a threat to their ability to organize and protect their own lands and water. So not only did the government fail to consult, because this legislation does impact their rights and titles, but the broad language of the bill really covers any kind of threat or interference to critical infrastructure, so pipelines, fracking, and our Indigenous communities are on the front lines of these fights. This bill, in combination with the recently leaked RCMP documents, which frame Indigenous activists as violent Aboriginal extremists, it really shows the ease in which they're able to apply this bill across the board. And the labeling of Indigenous activists is not new in terms of terrorism. This happens in colonial states all around the world. And it's a tactic used to delegitimize these movements. If you think about anti-apartheid movement, if we had Bill C-51 back then, Canadians who stood up and spoke in support of Nelson Mandela would actually be criminalized under the speech crime. Similarly, nowadays, if you disagree with the government's stance on Palestine, it was Safety Minister Stephen Blaney, the Conservative MP, he's actually one of the authors of this bill. He has said that there is a zero-tolerance policy in Canada for people who want to support boycotts, sanctions for Israel. So, fascism, absolutely. This just gives you a sense of some of the layers of the racism involved in this bill. And a lot of people have been asking, what comes next? What are we going to do? So in addition to writing letters to your members of parliament, writing letters to federal leaders, in addition to coming out to protests like this, continuing this conversation, in addition to voting in this year's election and making sure that we get Harper out. Because honestly, this government is not listening to us. If we want to change these policies, we actually need to change the government. So, in addition to all of those things, I want to encourage each of you to, in your day-to-day lives, challenge this racist discourse. Speak out against oppression, and honestly, stand together in support with and solidarity with the communities who are going to be affected the most by this bill. Thank you.